We're just a few days away from witnessing Maxwell Jacob Friedman make wrestling history with an achievement that will end up being so iconic, so memorable, so mind-blowing, something that will go down in the record books as one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling history, something that will shatter the very foundations of professional wrestling to the point it's just dust on the goddamn ground. They're going to have to build new foundations with blackjack and hookers. This achievement is going to shatter the earth. It's going to split time. It's going to shatter every goddamn bit of the universe to the point that people are going to have to get out there, sweep, and cluster it together, and then we're going to have a new Big Bang, which is certainly going to be better than the Big Bang Theory. Fuck the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory has never been funny. Fuck everybody that wrote it. Fuck everybody that shot it. Fuck everybody that starred in it. Fuck the Big Bang Theory forever. But Maxwell Jacob Friedman, otherwise known as the Devil, our scumbag. He's better than us and we know it, also known as MJF. He is going to become the longest reigning AEW World Heavyweight Champion of all time. And the reign is going to go on and on and on and on, and it won't stop till the break of dawn, and it's going to go on and on and on and on, and it's just going to keep going no matter what time dawn is. And Dawn, by the way, is really, really tough on Stains. But MJF doesn't have the record yet. Now, why doesn't he have the record yet? Because one man's standing in his way. And that man is Kenny Omega, the current holder of the record of longest reigning AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And Kenny Omega is clutching at that. He's got his claws deep in MJF and into that record. And he's just digging and gnarling his teeth and ready to just rip skin, drink blood, eat bones. He is going to grind the bones of MJF to make his bread and say, "You will not have my record. I am so angry that you think that you're better than me, and I know you aren't, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop you." And you know that Kenny Omega is so goddamn angry. And how do you know that Kenny Omega is really this angry? Because during a verbal exchange to hype up their match at AEW Collision, where MJF either will break the record or Kenny Omega will stop him, Kenny Omega said, "If you're such a fighting champ, gee golly gosh, don't be afraid to show it, pal." Because Kenny Omega is so goddamn angry that gee golly gosh came out of his mouth, and I bet he was absolutely livid. Then again, he was recently watching reruns of Leave It to Beaver. Ward, weren't you a little hard on the Beaver last night? Maybe he recently watched Pleasantville. That was certainly a movie that was weird. Had a great look, I'll say that much. Maybe he was watching that episode of The Simpsons, Jiminy Jillikers, Jiminy Jillikers, Jiminy Jillikers. Maybe he went down to the malt shop. Maybe he went to have a Pepsi free. If you want a Pepsi, kid, you got to pay for it. Something without a lot of sugar in it. Something without a lot of sugar in it. He's going to have a frosted, chocolate milkshake. He is maybe going to have a piece of pie that's cooling on a windowsill. Gee golly gosh. The world's greatest wrestling artist can't talk for goddamn shit, but he can certainly create some art in the ring. But his promos are equal to a 3-year-old doing finger painting, throwing a goddamn tantrum, and still somehow sounding more mature than Kenny Omega on promos. Gee golly gosh. Yay! Wrestling! I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Lee Gala Center. Around 5,500 people in a 10K building. And you know what? This is one of the better crowds. And I say that as somebody that was at 2 of their shows late, in September, and then at Wrestle Dream. Look, the Collision crowd, we sucked. We absolutely sucked. Philadelphia, hotbed for professional wrestling. Yes, ECW, but also good professional wrestling. And I know there are people that like ECW. And ECW did a lot of great shit. But there are other memorable moments besides what ECW created. Now, I will say that this show actually started off pretty goddamn good. And as for the rest of it, I'll talk about that. So, here's Renee with MJF, calling Cole, and then Adam, because I'm sorry, but I'm sick of this Roddy Cole stuff and whatever. The Kingdom are there. Hey, I'll help you. I'll help you. And, oh, you want to help me, MJF says? And he pushes Roddy, comically off camera in his wheelchair. And then he yells at Juice Robinson saying, "I got a bullet with your name on it." Yeah, in light of something that happened in Lewiston, Maine, and surrounding areas, boy, some of this dialogue is not aged all that well. They had no way of knowing. I'm just Jesus. Real world events. So, we cut to the devil mask guy, kind of nodding his head and everything. They're either going to have this be where somebody is like trying to get in MJF's head. It's going to be his ultimate, feud. Or it's going to be like MJF trying to fight the devil away to be a good guy. I don't... Now I'm really confused about what this is. So anyway, MJF getting a big old pop, taking on Juice Robinson with the Guns. Dynamite Diamond Ring match. This is the best match on the goddamn show. Easily. My God, was it the best match on the show. MJF jump starts. Big pops. Juice got busted open at one point, but Juice took over. The Guns kept interfering. This was boom, boom, boom. This was a pay-per-view quality match on free television. This was good shit. MJF was all fired up. He was ready. The crowd was eating out the palm of his hand. And I just still find it so funny that I saw MJF at a couple indie shows in Seattle in front of like maybe 400 people. And just seeing how so much better he got, even just in a year. And how much better he is now. I mean, like me saying that I'm proud of him as a wrestling fan means anything. He's the one that put in the work. I'm just an idiot talking about wrestling, but I really do appreciate how great MJF is. So anyway, Jay White shows up. And we go to break. And then Jay White joins commentary, which kind of brings this match down because I know what they're trying to do. They're really trying to keep this Jay White MJF thing heated up. And I'll give him credit. They're putting time into this. The problem is Jay White is never going to be the main eventer. He was never the main event guy in New Japan. And this proves why. Because he's good in the ring. He's bland on the mic. Now, MJF did the kangaroo kick. Big pop. He was doing some flips. I did like how he flipped and did the eye poke. That was really good stuff. And then we get a punch. We get, a power bomb by Juice 1-2. MJF ends up diving on the Guns. We get a rope break, with the left-handed gut. We get a lot of really good shit here. We get a loose Juice, deal here. We get a lot of great shit happening. And then we get a ring shot by MJF. He hits the Heat Seeker after punching out both the Guns. 1, 2, 3. He keeps the ring. There you go. Great start. Then the Guns swarm. And then the Kingdom show up, and they get laid out pretty quickly because the stuffed giraffe didn't do them any good. And then Jay shows up, and then the Acclaimed hit. And, well, the heels powder. And then Jay cuts another promo because we didn't hear Jay White bore us enough. And I wrote down this is ridiculous because this is the same thing every show. But the Guns basically challenge MJF for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. We got a gun for each one. And, okay, MJF accepts. There is no way MJF is going to keep the tag titles for that long. And unless I think he has re-signed with AEW because I think his contract is up in early 2024. A 4-on-4 match next week. That's basically it. And if MJF's team wins, I guess he gets his title back that Jay White stole. But then, Max, you don't have to yell at me, idiot. I'm right here. And Roddy says, you're going to pick us, right? And then basically Roddy gets called a bland bitch. I mean, I get the point. The Roddy stuff is kind of played out now because unless he's not injured, he wouldn't be out like that if he really was injured. But you know what? We get comedy with the Acclaimed and MJF. No scissoring. And then here's Omega who says, gee golly gosh, don't be afraid to show it, pal. Here's the thing. Omega and MJF having a match, I'm all for. But goddamn. 30 minutes for all this. Don't get me wrong, most of it was good. I could have done without some of the comedy, but the match was good. The match was good, and I can put up with the other stuff. I can hold my nose and do it. And then Wardlow pre-tape. He wants to take everything from Max because he's tired of seeing him rise up, and he knows how bad MJF is. He has nothing left to lose. except possibly, losing Tony Khan's number and going somewhere else, because I don't see what else they could do with him. Also, MJF's feuding with a lot of people. So, then Hook and RVD took on Silver and Reynolds of the Dark Order. RVD got a pop, ECW chance, a bona fide legend. I don't know if I'd call RVD that, but you can if you want. That was Taz calling him that. So yeah, Red Rum won it after a 5-star frog splash. I'm not going to pay attention to anything with the Dark Order in 2023. Evil Uno got hit in the head, so a lot of good. That he does good stuff as far as for charity and putting on indie shows. The Dark Order is pointless. So anyway, yeah, Hooker VD won. More Tony time during the break. Shivani brings out Sting and Darby in a sling. Excalibur says the Sting will call it a career at Full Gear 2024. Good use of the calendar there. And I don't mind Excalibur. I'm not as down on Excalibur as everybody else. Sting thanks Philly and Darby, the best tag team partner I've ever had. Ooh, not Luger or the Giant, to be fair. Everybody turns on Sting, and he falls for it every time. Maybe there's lead in that face paint. If you get that reference, that's a deep cut for YouTube. Thanks Tony Khan for letting him wrestle a little longer with Big Red. There's a deep cut. And, Tony is asking for the microphone, so here you go, and Excalibur and Taz lose it. That was kind of funny. I found that funny. Shivani then praises Sting and his TBS work, and 35 years ago, he was put on the map on TBS. The special gift is Ric Flair, who apparently is trying to pickle himself and put himself in a mason jar. Sting is happy. Flair has a mic in hand. Holy shit chance. How drunk was Flair? I mean, genuinely. I know that he's had health issues. I know he dips snuff. And I know he's old. He sounded sauced. I know that he's supposed to be doing stuff in moderation, but Jesus Christ. Anyways, I was trying to, I was like, he sounds like an old lady at a tanning shop having a stroke. I mean, he doesn't sound healthy. Doesn't sound healthy at all. I want to ride with you again, man. And I want to, I want to ride the wagon with you is actually what he said. And I think the raggin and the wagon and the dragon ran him over. Everything ran Flair over. Keep your clothes on, Rick. And then Christian and Co. show up, Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. This is the gift. He gave you a suit, some gold chains, and a black liver. Great gift. Christian at least had better material here. Actually, I think probably just did better material. Weekend at Bernie's reference. I know it's like, relax. I know that Ric Flair's not dead. I also know there's no God, because if there was a God, Ric Flair would have died 20 years ago. He's not wrong. I mean, there is no God anyway. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. But Christian jabs at all of them. And then Full Gear is going to be a 6-man. Flair's probably going to be in the corner, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it'll be Andrade, El Olio. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they hold off on that. But then Sting starts sneezing. I'm allergic to jackasses instead of bullshit, and you're on. Also, Darby in a sling, and Darby is determined to climb Mount Everest at some point. Of course you are, Darby. Of course. That's dangerous. He shouldn't do that. Renee interviews Jericho, the greatest of all times. No, he's not. Of any time. He has friends, big friends, too. Maybe he'll bring Paul White back, and then Hobbs can beat him. Then the Hardys took Hardys and Brother Zay. Where is Mark Quinn? I have nothing against Isaiah Cassidy. Where is Mark Quinn? Did he quit wrestling? I'm asking a question. I haven't seen him in a year. They took on the Hung Bucks, Hangman Page and the Bucks. Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship. The Hardys are washed. Zay got pinned in 12 minutes. And then we cut to Nana and Swerve. Because they swerve when they drive, and they went to Hangman's house in the dark when they drive. And I don't really know how to keep this deal alive. So yeah, they break into Hangman's house. The wife is apparently either in a coma, or they left the baby by themselves, or the nanny was asleep. Maybe they whacked the nanny. I don't know. But Hangman then takes off and goes backstage. Is he going to run all the way to Virginia? Does Tony Khan have a, super fast jet? Does he have a teleportation deck? How is he going to get back there anytime soon? Philly to Virginia, I don't think is a hop, skip, and a jump. So, but anyway, Nana doesn't want to go near the kid's crib. It's like, this is too far, boss. We broke in the house, but this is too far. And Swerve says, you took stuff from me, so now your family's going to pay. And basically says to the kid, this is all on your dad. And it's all your father's fault. And he leaves his shirt in the crib. Obviously, the kid wasn't there because we never saw that. And then that's it. And I like how they're trying to keep Swerve, heated up and everything. This was not the most egregious, break-in deal that they've done. I didn't love this. I mean, I like Swerve. He had good material here. But they just put on the screen they committed, several crimes. And, this is just another day in Tacoma breaking into houses. And I'm not saying for Swerve, that's just Tacoma in general, but good God. Good God. Anyway, then Copeland is back there with Renee. He still won't fight Christian. And then Darby basically says his killer be killed. Sting says, we go back a long way. Do they? Do they? As far as neck doctors? But anyway, we're going to fire up. And we need you, I guess, because none of the other 200 people they have on the roster could do that. They could get Statlander involved. And Statlander versus Luchasaurus, I wouldn't mind seeing. And then Sheeta and Ruby face each other for the AEW Women's Championship. Sheeta best around, and women's wrestling is alive and well. Those were good signs. Both can work. I don't care about Ruby, and Ruby really just looks like she's totally checked out. I don't blame her. They did stupid shit with the spray can, including, Eddie Guerrero type comedy, and then sprayed the title, and then Ruby tried for the flatliner, and then got hit with the katana. 1, 2, 3. Hit with the katana knee, by the way, not an actual katana. Be dangerous. I didn't hate this match, but this wasn't something that I went out of my way to say, yeah, that was great. Saraya wasn't there. That's a good thing. So anyway, here's Toni Storm with a bald guy. And she's got the black and white thing going on while Sheeta's just looking and wondering what the hell's going on. Renee is with MJF about Omega, and then Samoa Joe interrupts and says, hey, I'll be your friend, but you give me a title shot. Okay. And then Okada gets a big pop. And then it's Danielson and Claudio versus Okada and Orange Cassidy. By the way, Abaddon, Abaddon is on Rampage. Now, I'm not going to review Rampage because I can only review so much, but I'll probably watch that because I'm glad that Abaddon's back on AEW programming. I know they've been doing some good stuff. Because those are the pronouns they go by. They, them. Let's respect that shit. And I'm not saying it's shit. Let's respect that. Let's actually just respect people that want to live as their true selves. So anyway, yeah, this tag match. So, to put up with... To watch two of my favorites, Okada and Danielson, and a great talent like Claudio, I gotta put up with this fucking joke. And Orange Cassidy is a joke. You can like him. That's fine. I don't want anything bad to happen to the person. I hate the gimmick. It's stupid. It has not evolved. Because it can't evolve. I fast forwarded every time Cassidy was in the ring. Just telling you that right there. Because I'm not even going to dignify this little shit. This abortion of a gimmick. With my goddamn time. Now, Claudio can work. They exploded for Danielson and Okada eventually facing off. And this was good. And then later, we got Claudio and Okada. That would be some good stuff. The Rainmaker pose, and then got to give the people what they want. He hugged him, so that makes Okada look goofy. And then everybody get in here. Uppercut pins Cassidy, so at least the dipshit took the pin. Though that means Claudio's taking the pin next week. And apparently he's taking place over there. Danielson hurt his face, and then The best friends, Rocky, Yuta, and Hook, for some reason, are there, and it's like, it was like this was meant to be an after thing, and they had this part of the overrun when they really didn't need to have this as part of the overrun, and it was very strange. It was a very strange ending. I think they meant to cut the camera sooner. Danielson's fine, by the way, apparently. I guess. So at least it had a hot opener. And this is the best they can do for Okada's limited U.S. dates. Hey, if we get Okada versus Danielson in the Dome, I'm all for it. Just a shame they had to have him tag with the fucking goof. So anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.